Where were your parents born?
Castle Street, my mother was born.
Castle Street, that's Abertillery, is it? What about your father? Do you know? Well, were they both born in Abertillery?
Yeah.
Were they both born in Abertillery?
In Abertillery, yeah.
What about their parents?
I haven't got that information, I can tell you that.
Was it Abertillery?
In Abertillery, yes.
It would all be Abertillery, though, would it?
In Abertillery, yes, but where I don't know.
Your father was a colliery examiner. What about his parents? What job did they do? Do you know?
I could tell you what my grandfather's parents, my grandfather was. He was a tin worker.
Who's that? Which grandfather? Your mother's?
Stephen Mimler. He was a tin worker, tin plate worker.
Would would your grandmothers have worked, or would it just been the grandfathers?
Well, let me see now. I think the grandmothers worked in their early days. In them days, they worked, didn't they? Because as much as I remember, they used to. Everyone saying that my grandmother, they worked in Pitet, didn't they? The Pitet one back in their days, didn't they? But I don't remember that. So I don't know, but I've been told that from my grandmother.
Where did the family originate from? Was it always Abertillery as long as you knew? And where exactly were you born?
Castle Street.
You were born in the house?
In the same house we lived, yeah. As I told you.
And can you recollect any stories concerning your birth?
No.
Did your mother ever tell you about you were a hard birth or anything like that?
No, nothing like that, no. I've been told about things in them days.
You don't remember any stories concerning other children, your brothers and sisters?
Oh, I think my mother had, but I can understand she had that concern with my mother, but that was in the later life, like when I was born and then was born.
Yeah.
But that was the later children. But I can't say anything about the younger children.
What about the children that died?
No idea. Well, let me see now.
Did they die at childbirth or later?
No. One child, but one died as about five, wasn't she? Oh, Mommy, and I think died about 5. But that's only one I can tell you. I wouldn't know when the other died. Like.
Can you remember your first school days?
My school days?
Yeah.
Well, I certainly know it. Do you mean my early days? Or?
Yeah. Your first. What's the first thing you can remember about school?
Going to school in the British school in Abertillery. That's where I went. I remember going up there to the British school. My mother taking me there the first time, like, sort of thing. When I went.
What's the British school?
British school, Abertillery.
What's that? Why is it called British school?
Well, that's the name it was called, British school. That's the name of the school.
Were you in the babies class?
Yes.
What did you do in the babies class?
Oh, well, I got for the other kind of babies.
You can't remember anything? Anything special you were doing, or?
Well, my aunt taking me there because she was a teacher. My aunt used to take me to school because she was teaching there. And I was a very tiny little girl. Very tiny.
What was the school like?
A good school, nothing wrong with the school. Very good as schools went in them days.
What was discipline like?
Oh, well, very reasonable.
What do you mean by reasonable?
Well, they weren't harsh. But I mean, of course you want to behave yourself like you want to behave yourself in every school.
How was the school maintained? Was it clean or?
I couldn't be truthful now in them days. How was it maintained in the early days? You don't know, do you?
No, was it rough or was it clean, that sort of thing?
Oh, well, it was ever so clean, kept ever so clean.
You thought you meant whether it was maintained by
No.
Oh, no, yes, very, very efficient it was. Very efficient our schools was. Very clean.
What was your attitude towards school?
Well, I didn't dislike school. I stayed there till I was 16. I went to grammar school, so I mean, I couldn't have been I could have come out from house early much before then, couldn't I?
Were there any lessons you really liked?
I'll stop to think now, don't I? only thing I didn't like was French and German. I didn't like that. When I was in the bigger school, you know. But all the ordinary subjects, I always seemed to take it in straight. I was all right on the other subjects, all other subjects.
Did you like anyone in particular, or?
I think arithmetic was as good as anything for me.
Why did you like that?
Well, I don't know. It's just that I like doing arithmetic, I suppose.
Were the teachers kind?
Yes, of course they were.
Why, of course.
Well, I mean, no doubts about the kid. They were there to teach us, and we was taught.
Were any teachers attacked by parents or pupils?
Well, I mean, we might get an occasional one can't go in there making trouble, but very, very few and far between, Joe. It's like it is now. I don't really get many people attacking it. If you behave yourself in school, you don't have that sort of thing, do you? My mother had no occasion ever to go to school for me. No, none of it.
You said you didn't have to do any jobs at home.
No.
What was the domestic routine like? Did your mother have sort of certain tasks to do, or?
Well, like everybody else, you have to do. I mean, today they don't do it, but in them days, mother did practically everything for their families, didn't they?
You said your father helped in your house.
Oh, he'd help occasionally in the house.
What sort of things did he do?
See now what he's doing. Always got the coal and stick in. That was one of his. See to the fire, lay the fire, make the fire. Always them sort of jobs. The hard tasks, you might say, my father would tackle. Never had no trouble with him doing things. We all got a bit of coal in. Chopped up the stick.
We had one family with us, and they were always, mother at school every day.
Well, see,
Well,
but we never no occasion.
few and far between.
They are. I mean, the trouble is, I think myself is today the trend has got different with the kids. That's why they got to keep on making all this, go to the schools so many times. Don't you think so?
Were your parents affectionate?
Oh, yes.
How often did your mother and father spend time together?
Well, all the time, all through their lives.
And how often was the family all together? Did you ever sort of
Well,
split up?
we all used to go to chapel together. We all used to go to wherever we was going to. We all went together. He was never left behind, none of us.
Did your parents play with the children?
Oh, Lord, take them out, do all sorts of things with the kids.
What sort of games?
Oh, I don't know what the games, all sorts of. I mean, as they get older, they play different games, don't you? Mind you, when we was kids, we didn't have the things to play with that kids got today. See, we had to have a lot of other things, make believe a lot of things, didn't we? I mean, you never had like the kids got today. I mean, what they have now. They have more than enough, don't they? When they're tiny, see. But we never had that. I mean, we used to make all sorts of things in school, paper bowls and all sorts of things like that. When we was kids. But as for having things to play with, well. And the mothers used to make rag dolls for us and all that sort of thing. See, John? We used to have our dolls, but they were only rag dolls. We never had no speciality. Like, you know what I mean by that, don't you?
You said your mother didn't have a job. Did she earn any money at all? Did she have a part-time job?
No, never. No money ever. Only my father's earnings.
Did you have a special ritual at Christmas?
Oh, yes, we used to have lovely Christmases.
Can you describe what Christmas was like? Decorations, presents, etc.
Well, they used to make a piece of trimmings and put up, like not like they do now. Because they go, again, they'd buy all these sorts of things today, but they had to make their own in them days. If you didn't make your own, you didn't have any.
Did anyone else come to visit you at Christmas?
Yes, well, we used to have all the family used to get together. Well, like we used to have in Clarence Street in our early days, all aunts and uncles used to get in my mother's house always after my grandmother died. But while my grandmother lived, we all went home to my grandmother's, and she lived in New Wall Street.
Why did they all go to your mother's house?
Well, I suppose my father's mother but he couldn't come to hers because he died. See?
But why not?
There was no home for my father's side. I mean, after I was a little tiny girl, my grandmother must have died very, very, when I was very young. And I think his father died before that, years before that.
Was it because she was the oldest? Was she in her family?
My mother?
Yeah.
No. Aunt Lizzie was the eldest. No, Uncle Joe was the eldest. My Uncle Joe was the eldest. But mine, they went away from Abertillery, and then they couldn't come on Christmas time. But we used to always go around during the week after Christmas, see one another, But we used to have some marvellous Christmases. Mine used to have a big bottle of sherry or something like that, We didn't have no whiskey and things like that. But we used to have, there was nothing outstanding, but we used to have some lovely times. Some good parties. The kids and all used to come see it was never this mothers and fathers business. Kids was all around. Each one to bring their kids and all. It's the same as when we went to Clarendon Street. Well, Lord, people used to have in Clarendon Street, be sleeping everywhere.
What did your parents do in their leisure time? Or did
And
they
the
have
only
leisure
thing they
time?
had to do was go to chapel, see, but there was nothing else in them days.
Did they have much leisure time?
Well, as much as they could make after they'd done all their work and things like that, see. Because my mother always made all our clothes, so up until I was 16, my mother never bought me a dress. No, none of our kids, up until I was 16, see.
What was considered exciting or a great treat?
See now.
It used to be a trip to Barry Island in
Oh, we used to go on
Riding,
our
that
holidays
sort of thing.
for a fortnight, all the rest of Swansea for a fortnight.
But did you have any sort of treats, any special
Oh
things?
yes, give them so much pocket money a day, so much in pence. And you spent it, you wouldn't have them all. I remember one time, I was in Swansea, and my mother's youngest brother was with us. And me and him went off to Sketty. She would give us, count these coppers out, see, so much each. And we spent on, and we went to Sketty, and we had to tell our mothers where we was going, see, because we was living near the sands, lodging near the sands, that we had never had no trouble about finding us where we went. When we went on just past, what's that place now past the park, where we wanted, and Sketty Park, is it?
Oh, it is Sketty.
Well, we went to the Sketty Park. Well, anyway, mother came on up after us, and I always remember my mother, me and Orlando went on the bus, and she said, my mother said, have you got some money, your bus fare your money? Me and Orlando spent it. She made the bus conductor bus us up. We had to walk all the way from Sketty Park down to where our lodging. No, she wouldn't pay for it. They spent their money and we had to do without it. That was 2 Johns. I'm sat on this chair. I could see it now. The sign to the bus conductor in them days, not women, but a man. And he said, put them off. They spent their money, so they must walk now. And walk we had to. I don't know how many coppers. I think it was about 6 coppers we used to have a morning. About 6 pence we used to have in them days, see. But of course you would have a lot for 6 pence in them days, see.
What was your daily food like?
Well, you used to have a fairly good table always, John. I mean, there was, even as we grew older, but when my father started keeping pigs, we didn't eat the bacon, but we had to have the bread fried in the bacon, the fat from breakfast. But we never eat the fat bacon, see, the pig, the home cured bacon. But they put this bacon in a Dutch oven, and then the fat, we'd have our bread dipped in that as our breakfast always. And it was worth having because it was good food, see, John, in them days.
Can you remember any other sort of food that you ate?
My mother used to make a bowl of rice and put it in the oven and put currants and sultanas in it, and it was beautiful. She used to beautiful. She used to make a big round bowl like that for us, and we used to throw in a handful of currants and raisins, and that was one of the dishes we had. But man, another thing I seen my mother knock up 6 eggs in a bowl, and we'd have that one tea for our tea, see. Oh, we lived well, there's no question about it.
Did you eat fresh fruit and drink fresh milk?
I can't answer for that. I wouldn't know exactly what the milk, because I can't remember what the milk. We used to have the milk by the door like you'd have it now.
Yeah, what about the fruits? Did you have fruit? Apples, oranges,
Well, I
etc.?
can't say that yet. We might have had a little fruit, but we never to no excess, like, see. You had plenty to eat though, mine, and plenty to drink, but I can't be honest about the fruit. I suppose we did have to a point, like, And mother always got us what she could get for us anyway.
What was considered special? Did you have any special meals? What did you have for Sunday dinner, sort of thing?
Oh, we always have a joint for Sunday dinner. Yeah, I used to have to go up to Slaughterhouse in the week and buy the meat in the week. There was a butcher's on the corner. I used to go and fetch the meat from the butcher's regularly by the old post office. Right? Used to be, you know where the gas shop is? There used to be a meat shop there, and another thing, there was a slaughterhouse down along the same people. I remember they was going to have a vein of liver and make packets for us always when we was kids. That was one of the meals we used to have, was faggots. I remember that very well.
Was your family a close-knit unit?
Fairly closely, or they started to go away from there. Look, they went from Abbott Levy down to Wattsville to live, and then down to Crosskeys. Well, of course, then we didn't see them so often, but before they went down there to live, see, we was always round about one another.
Were the neighbours important? Did you know the neighbours?
Yes, we knew our neighbours, yes. We never lived in one of those houses, mate, but we always knew, this was a neighbour.
Did you have birthday parties?
Well, we was kids, like. My mother always found something special for us on that birthday like, We didn't go to any excess in there, but it was always a nice tea for us.
And can you remember any of when your parents entertained? Can you remember any of those occasions?
They must have been weekends, look, see.
Can you remember
During the
anything about
weekends?
them? Can you remember who came? And
Oh yes, my aunts and uncles and friends. My dad had a friend working with him, and his wife used to come with her 2 children, and Aunt Lizzie used to come with her couple of kids. Our Bella used to come down.
can you remember the first book you read?
No, I can't. Don't ask me that. That's one of the things I couldn't tell.
What things were available for reading?
Well, let me see now. I can't remember unless it was. I can't remember reading papers or anything like that. I don't know whether there's any papers about it, but I can't remember reading them, John.
Did you have books in the house?
My father, yes, my father read a lot. My father was well educated. I mean, not from going to night school. My father went to night school for years. Know what I mean, don't you? All his books was there, and my father was out in the big books, the classical books and all that. My father was always up there, to read like. I can't remember as to whether I read much, but anyway, when I went to school, I know that, and we used to have to read 2 hours school homework and all that sort of thing. But I don't remember reading too much as all that in my younger days. Not books, like.
Where did you go for holidays?
Swansea, regularly, every year, for a number of years.
Can you describe what happened? Where did you live, etc. there? In a lodging house or what?
Oh no, well we lived right on the sands more or less there. Right on the first 2 rows off the sands there in Swansea.
Was that a lodging house or?
Well, people used to take in boarders, you see.
What did you do in the summer holidays?
Just play about, I suppose.
What sort of games did you play?
Oh dear, hopscotch. What else did we play with? I can't remember.
Rounders, bat and cat.
Oh, that sort of thing. I bat and cat. They used to play bat and cat away, didn't they?
Spinning tops.
Where did you play these games?
Well, there wasn't no traffic on the roads like there is now, was there? We had a small pavement in front of the house. That was in Castle Street, about as right from here to that end of that mat. And we'd all be playing on that yard. But I mean, the street, see, wasn't too bad. And I mean, there was never no traffic like there is now, see, John. A few horses and carts, but no more. See the beer lorry come to the castle and the lion every week, see, bringing the beer and that. But that was all.
When did you play these games? What time?
Well, I have to come over school. Unless on holidays, you could play them normally in any day.
Were there any such things as hobbies? Did you have hobbies?
Yes, I had a hobby. I used to go to needlework class, and men do cribble work and all that sort of thing. That was all we had to do. There wasn't nothing else we could go to see until the pictures came in, the cinema started.
Can you remember the first entertainment you went to?
We started entertainments in the chapel then. Do all sorts of things in the chapel.
Can you remember
And do plays and all the rest of it. Used to be, I was doing some of the other in chapel. Can't remember what they was now, but we used to do it.
Were there festivals or fairgrounds or fetes?
Well, I never went to much fairgrounds. I think there was about, but we never took there.
Did you go to the cinema?
When the cinema came, we started going to cinemas.
And when did
Which was
that
a
come?
novelty for us, of course.
Can you remember when that came?
Oh dear. Let's see, it was 16 or I said be a bit younger than that when we went to cinema first of all. What year did cinema start coming in?
God, God knows I don't miss this.
They started in the old skating rink, I know. Down where the cinemas was built after, you know. That's where they started. I know it was just a row of chairs and a woman playing the piano. They're playing the piano and enjoying herself. She was ripping it off. I can remember that.
Were there street entertainers?
I never saw any. Not where I lived, anyway.
What was the social round like? Don't know what he means by that.
Well, I mean, social things that they do, is it? People do, is it? And I wouldn't know other than what our own, around our own
That's the
house, wouldn't I?
equivalent
Huh?
of dinner parties and things like that, I think.
What was the community like?
A very good community.
Were there rich people in the area?
Well, we wouldn't call them rich, but they was middle class, all of them. Everybody was more or less middle class, wasn't they, Ray? Now, Larry Bennington, I should imagine anyway. I shouldn't call them rich, but I suppose they were the two, you know, that had money, but I wouldn't say they were rich or that, but that rich people living there.
What
The
did
middle
you
class people there, too.
What did you think of society?
Well, I never just didn't bother about it.
And
Didn't worry me.
complicated them.
Was there class distinction? And how did it affect you?
It didn't affect me in any way. I never bothered.
You said there was middle class, so you
Ah,
must
well,
have assumed there were classes.
Oh, yes. I mean, you could find another class lower than what we were. See, we know that, but still we was never brought up around them. See, you know what I mean? But none the more for that. I mean, we know they were poor and all that, see, but John, but we wasn't a poor family at all. But on top of that, I mean, the poor people there, they had every right to live, see, and do what they can do, don't they? But we never seemed to be among them, see, never seemed to go where they were. Other than a few coming to school, a few stragglers coming to school, see, that's all we ever seen of the poverty there. But they were there, but there's no doubt about that, in hundreds of ways.
Did you see anything of the rich people, if there were any?
I never thought any was richer than me. I thought I was as good as anybody, and that's how I always felt about it.
How often do you see your grandparents?
Every night.
Did they have any strange likes or dislikes?
I wouldn't know. I know one thing I do, if we had to behave ourselves and we did, not do nothing we thought it. I remember the horse and cart used to come up there with a grocery, green grocery, and if we went outside that door, my grandmother used to have a thimble, and she'd tap us on the head like that, and we had to go in. But mind, she never came in though she brought us something off the car, but we dare not go out and look for anything. You know what I mean? Don't you by that, don't you? They were parents like that, grandparents like that, but they'd buy you anything but mine. You got to sit and wait for them to bring it in, you know what I mean? Because it used to be a big thing when the horse and cart used to come around with all this fruit and things like that. See? That's when we used to have the fruit, I remember. Now we can't talk about the fruit. I mean, we used to have fruit then galore by my grandmother's. Because we never went up there any night, but there was some there on the sideboard, on the side for us. That's when we used to have the fruit, I can remember that now.
Did you work before you went to school in the mornings?
No, never.
A paper round or anything?
Never.
When you were, when you were about 11 or 12?
None of us had
no?
never done a day, none of us never to blow.
So you never had a part-time job?
No.
How would you make extra pocket money?
Well, we was given our pocket money by our parents, and we had to abide by it. Whatever we had, they'd give us, we had to use. Mind, we didn't have a big lot of pocket money. We had to left
What did you do with your pocket money?
buy a couple of sweets.
Anything else?
No, just a couple of sweets.
Didn't buy granny shoes?
Eh?
Didn't buy granny boots like you?
As part of the Christmas
We had to go,
present.
when we went to the shop, we had to have what fitted us. We didn't have to go and say, well, I don't like these. And my mother, it was put on our feet. The man had the thing to measure our feet, you know. And we had the shoes that suited and the shoes that would last. Proper school boots, you know what I mean? Not heavy, but proper school boots.
Would you say that life revolved around family and church? Would you say your life revolved around the family and the church or chapel?
Oh, chapel, always there, chapel. We never was church, chapel. But we all mixed in together. There was something on every night, more or less, and there was, as I said, band book one night, another night needlework, needlework classes, and then something else another night. And we done a lot in the chapel, which we didn't do outside, like.
Were your aunts, uncles and cousins important?
Was my what?
Your aunts, uncles and cousins important?
Well, of course they were to us. I mean, we used to always look forward to seeing them.
Did you lose touch with them, or did
No, we always kept in touch with them all.
they? Right, you say you went to chapel. Did you go willingly?
Yes. Well, we was brought up to do it, see.
Why?
I don't know, my mother and father was members of the Baptist church, and we was brought up in the Baptist church, chapel, and that's how we all carried on.
Have you ever felt class distinction in the chapel?
No, never, not to my knowledge.
Did you say prayers at night?
Yes, we was taught to say our prayers.
How religious were your parents?
Well, I wouldn't say them, and yes, they must have been, because they was members of church, of the chapel, I mean. I mean, they was, well, I wouldn't say they was over religious in the point of view that they was, you know what I mean? Like,
You say quite religious, not or very religious, or
well, it was. Well, they made it their life, you know. They circled around the chapel, you know what I mean. Whatever they done, we more or less went to chapel and we done sort of thing, you know. Any entertainment, we always went to the chapel. Whatever was going on, we always went there. There's nothing else much about there.
apart from chapel, how would you spend Sundays? You know, once you've been to
Sunday
chapel.
school for a start. We used to go to chapel Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
There was Sunday school in the afternoons.
What did you do after that?
We used to go in the night with our parents. In the night with our parents.
So to chapel 3 times a day?
Yes, with our parents.
Was there certain things you couldn't do on the Sabbath?
And of course we used to dress up. We wasn't allowed to wear our best things out and play and things like that. We had to be ourselves, you know what I mean. My mother used to make every garment, Jackie, for every one of us. I was 16 before she took me to a shop and made a thing and bought a thing for me. She was always on the sewing machine, always, my mother.
Would visitors come on a Sunday?
Not more or less on the weekend, on a Saturday or say, like on Saturdays and sometimes, but they all more or less, our family used to all go to chapel and church, though. My grandmother's family was church and my grandmother was chapel.
When you were ill, did the doctor come to you?
Yes, we always had a doctor.
Did you lose any brothers or sisters? Oh, yes, you lost 3, didn't you? What sort of medicines did you use?
My mother used to make, you know, this just for colds. And she used to make poultices. Nancy made poultices. And she used to make lemon and, what did I get? Lemon, glycerine and onion. That was the sort of thing she used to make for colds first, or blackcurrant, you know. Onion and blackcurrant.
Mustard plasters.
Eh?
And mustard plasters.
That's right. But, they used to buy them, but I never missed a plaster on me. But they used to buy them for
Goose grease.
oh, that was the old thing. My mother used to always have a goose every Christmas and save the goose grease for bad thoughts.
How did she mix the lemon juice?
Lemon juice, honey, you know, with a spoon, and glycerine. And give us a spoonful or a couple of spoonfuls, you know.
Can you remember being in mourning
Remember what?
being in mourning for any member of the family when your brothers and sisters died?
Well, I remember my grandmother dying. I remember my grandfather dying. I was with them both the things. But,
Was there any special ritual concerning death? Did you have the
No,
coffins in the house, or?
yeah, no, there used to lay them out. There used to be in the house. They never went to the, like they got the chapeleries now. They were in the chapel of rest. They didn't have, they used to lay them out in their middle front rooms.
Did people come to the house?
Yes, and look at them in the coffin in the house, in the front room. Everybody had that way, didn't they, year for years, and they
What about after the burial? Did everybody come back to that?
yes, come back and have a cup of tea or whatever was going on there. And in them days, you would put on a spread, cold almond pickles and things like that, Not like they put now, you put a sandwiches on. It's always a do with cold almond pickles and what have you, Cake and all the rest of it.
Were your clothes made up by your mother?
Yeah.
Did she ever buy any?
Not till we were 16 years of age.
Did you wear hand-me-downs?
No.
Can you
I
remember?
didn't wear hand-me-downs because I was one of the eldest. But whether my mother kept them after for them coming on after me, I won't be answerable for that. But me, the two eldest girls, never had hand-me-downs.
Can you remember any national events? First World War? Or?
Oh yes, I remember the First World War breaking out. I remember the soldiers going on the train, and we lived by where there was a territorial drill on. Remember seeing the soldiers all going to catch the train to go off to war, Oh, actually, quite close to where we lived, that was, the territorial one.
What about Armistice Day was it? What about Armistice Day?
Yes, well, I remember Armistice Day, but I'm coming to saying it was Armistice, I remember that again.
Yeah, but that's the end of the war, isn't it? It's the childhood ones you want.
1917, the First World War finished, isn't it?
What about Victoria? When did she die?
Hold on, I forgot now. Don't ask me about how Mark can tell that. Have you got any birthday books?
Did any member of the family go into the forces?
Yes, two uncles.
If they did, how did it affect the family? Did they come back after, or?
Oh, they both lived, yes. Well, they died afterwards, a number of years after, a few years afterwards, But they both came back after the war.
And what happened when you left school?
When who left school?
Yeah, when you left school, how old were you?
16. But mine had been to grammar school till I was 16, look.
Did you take a job?
Yes.
What was your occupation?
Well, I was in an office in Lipton. There's an office with the money and that, taking. Used to have them wire things going up and down. Then I used to put the change in there and to empty the little ticket and that. And I was up in the office and I had to see to the accounts before I left. You know what I mean? I was like a clerk in a office.
What were the hours like?
Oh dear, we worked some hours there.
How long?
Yes, we worked every night in the week till 8 o'clock, and we worked on Saturday till 12 o'clock, and then they still come. They shut the door on the because at 12 o'clock at night. My father fetched me from work every Saturday night at 12 o'clock.
What time did you start in the morning?
About 8:30, I think. 8 or 8:30, I'm not sure about it. I know it was early, about 8 or 8:30. And then after some years, they shut it at 8 o'clock. Then they went on every night to about, they shut it before they shut at 8, they closed about 9. Then they brought it down to 8, and but Saturday nights was always 12 o'clock.
How much money did you get?
I can't remember. I got no idea now, because I don't know idea what the money was in them days. This is many years ago. She's 16 and I'm 86, John. That's 70 years ago, isn't it?
Can you remember, did it seem a lot to you then?
Well, I suppose it did in them days. I mean, money used to go farther than doing now, didn't it?
Did you give any to your parents?
I don't remember. my father was always in a good job, see, John, which makes a lot of difference, doesn't it? My mother wasn't hard up for money, so whether she ever let me go free, I can't remember.
What were your expectations when you left school? Did you eventually do what you wanted to do? Or did you want to be a brain surgeon sort of thing?
Oh, no, I never want to be anything like that.
But what did you want to do when you left school?
Well, it's a long story, John.
Go on, have another half hour yet.
No, I it was my own fault I left school. I did it on impulse. I could have gone much farther if I'd have stopped at school, but I just did it on impulse. I'm in a bit of a temper. I just went and fetched my books out and I never went back to school. And I was only 16 years of age. And I found this job after. And that was the end of my career. I had to look for some of them to, live in them. Right? But on impulse, I done it. Mind if I'd seen my time over, I would have never have done it. But I did it, and I was a bit,
What would you have done if you had stayed on in school?
Well, I might have been gone to do something of my life, wouldn't I? Different.
Yeah, such as what? What would you have done?
I might have gone off, back to go to college or something like that. I would have if I'd have. But I was so headstrong, see, at that time, at 16, that I just didn't know my own, what I was doing really, and I'd had more sense than that. I regretted it after mine. But there it is. I'm not the only one who's going to regret them things. Lots of people do that sort of thing, come out and everyone, and think they do the wrong thing, do they? Think they're doing the right thing at the time, but it isn't the right thing, is it?
And can you remember anything about your childhood that stands out? Anything at all to do with anything?
I can remember my father going to work at 6 o'clock in the night. And my mother used to take us, all of us, the children, every one of us. My father, we used to all go up to my grandmother lived off the bottom of the street, where Dad used to go down the pit head. And then my mother used to go straight up the kids and all to my grandmother's. And then when he was ready to go home, I had an uncle, and my mother had a brother there, an uncle, and he used to take us home in the night. And when we used to get home, he used to wait till we was all in bed and then shouting, "All right, Eve," my mother's name was Eva, and then go back home. But they always took us home, every one of us. And my mother and all kids, all family of us. I remember that quite well, going up to Leaves with my father. I wasn't so very old in them days.
How far was it?
Eh?
How far was it?
Oh, quite a long way. Isn't it from Castle Street up to, you know where Castle Street is? You know where the line is, don't you? Don't you know where the line is? You've been along that street, haven't you, surely? It's in line with the gas works anyway. We lived in line with the gas works, didn't you? Only up this side, wasn't it, way? I've been down Castle Street, you know.
No.
You know where you've got to Alexandria, you cut down through that way, see?